Everyone has had the same dreams, and sometimes we ask ourselves, why the hell does this happen? But for every bizarre and common dream, there are plausible explanations, and they are trying to warn you about something. Teeth falling out. You're with friends in a conversation circle. Everything is normal, but suddenly, while you're talking, you feel something strange in your mouth. One tooth is loose, then another, and one more. You spit. One tooth, two, three. You stand there awkwardly, not wanting to tell anyone around you. You quietly step away to check. You run your tongue around your mouth and confirm. Your teeth have fallen out. No blood, no pain. They just fell out. And then you wake up. With that distress of, I lost my teeth, now what? But then you run your tongue around your mouth, and phew, they're all there, firm and strong. It was just a dream. If you've had this dream, you're not alone. It's one of the most common dreams in the entire world. People from completely different cultures and countries report the exact same experience. Psychology explains it this way. Teeth represent confidence, appearance, and power. When they fall out in a dream, something in those pillars is shaken in your real life. It could be the fear of losing control of a situation, worrying about what others think of you, or a feeling of powerlessness over something you can't resolve. If this dream has shown up for you recently, it's worth asking yourself, what in your life is making you feel like you've lost control? Being chased. You're somewhere. It could be a street, a forest, an endless corridor, and there's something or someone behind you. You don't know exactly what, but you know you can't stop. You run. Your legs feel heavy, as if the ground is pulling you down. You look back and it's getting closer. Your heart races. You try to scream and no sound comes out. You try to run faster and your body won't obey. And then you wake up, breathless, with the feeling that you were genuinely being hunted. This is probably the most common dream in human history. Almost everyone has had it at least once, and most people have had it several times. Psychology says this: what chases you in the dream is rarely a monster or a stranger. It's a metaphor. It represents something in your real life that you're avoiding facing. A problem, a responsibility, a difficult conversation, a decision you keep pushing forward every day. Your brain won't let you escape while sleeping because you're already escaping while awake. Free fall. You're somewhere high up, a balcony, a bridge, some kind of edge, and suddenly, you fall. The feeling is completely real. The wind on your face, your stomach turning, that acceleration with no brakes. You try to grab onto something, and there's nothing there. You try to scream, and the sound disappears. The ground is coming fast. And then, boom. You wake up with your entire body jolting in bed, heart in your throat, breathing cut short, with no idea what just happened. That jolt you feel when waking up even has a scientific name. It's called hypnic jerk. It's your body reacting to your brain simulating a real fall. But why does the brain do this? Psychology associates the free fall dream with moments when you're losing control of something important in your life. A big decision that needs to be made and you freeze. A situation that's slipping through your hands. A feeling that the ground you once stood on firmly isn't so solid anymore. The bigger the fall in the dream, the greater the pressure you're usually feeling while awake. Flying. Suddenly, without explanation, you realize you can fly. At first, it feels strange. You jump and don't fall. You take a running start, jump, and go up. You run again and rise even higher. Soon, you're above the houses, above the trees, looking at everything below from an angle you've never seen before. The wind hits your face, the world looks small, and that feeling of weightlessness is so good that you hope you don't wake up. And when you do wake up, a sadness hits you, because it felt too real. And you know you won't fly again anytime soon. This is one of the few dreams on this list that doesn't frighten, and that's no coincidence. While the other common dreams tend to come loaded with anxiety and fear, the flying dream appears in different moments. Psychology associates it with feelings of freedom, overcoming challenges, and expansion. It tends to appear when you've just resolved something difficult, when you're feeling confident, or when you've finally gotten out of a situation that was holding you back. It's as if your brain is celebrating right along with you. If you dreamed you were flying recently, something in your life is probably going well, even if you haven't stopped to recognize it yet.
Being naked or unprepared. You're in an important situation. It could be a work presentation, an exam, a room full of people. Everyone is looking at you, and then you realize you're completely naked. Or you realize the exam has started and you haven't studied anything. Or that the presentation is right now and you've prepared absolutely nothing. That feeling of total exposure hits all at once. You try to cover yourself, try to hide, try to leave the room, but there's no way out. Everyone keeps looking at you. And then you wake up, with that embarrassment that takes a while to fade, even knowing it was a dream. This dream is extremely common in people going through some kind of external judgment. A new phase at work, a change of environment, a moment when they're being evaluated by others. Psychology explains that being naked or unprepared in a dream represents vulnerability, the fear of being seen as incompetent, the fear that the people around you will find out that you don't know as much as you appear to. There's even a name for this phenomenon in psychology: imposter syndrome. And this dream is one of the ways it shows up while you sleep. And maybe you're comparing yourself too much. Social media does this a lot. You open your feed and see influencers with perfect lives, perfect bodies, perfect careers. But be careful with that illusion. What you see on screen is a carefully staged display, not anyone's real life. Nobody's life is what they post. If you've been having this dream frequently, your brain is sending you a clear message. Stop measuring yourself against others. You're being harder on yourself than you should be. Arriving late. You need to get somewhere important. A flight, an exam, a meeting, an appointment you can't miss. You know the time is coming, and nothing works. Traffic won't move. You forget your keys. You go back to get them and forget something else. Your legs feel like lead. The clock runs faster than it should. And the more you try to hurry, the more everything freezes around you. You arrive. But it's too late. The gate closed, the exam ended, the flight took off without you. And you wake up with that horrible feeling of having missed something you can't get back. This dream almost always appears during phases of overload, when you have more responsibilities than you can handle, when the demands, yours or others, are greater than your capacity to respond. Psychology interprets the lateness in the dream as a direct reflection of how you feel while awake, the feeling that life is moving faster than you can keep up with, that no matter how much you run, you'll always be one step behind. If this dream has been showing up for you, maybe it's time to stop and reorganize your priorities. Not everything needs to be done right now. Not everything is as urgent as it seems at 3 in the morning.
Witnessing death. Someone dies in your dream. It could be a family member, a close friend, or even yourself. The scene is too vivid. The pain is too real. And when you wake up, that weight in your chest takes a while to go away, because for a few seconds, you believed it. You lie there trying to separate the dream from reality. Sometimes you even pick up your phone to message the person, just to make sure they're okay. This is one of the most frightening, precisely because it involves someone you love. But here's something important. In psychology, dreaming about someone's death almost never has a literal meaning. It's not a premonition. It's not a sign that something is going to happen. The brain doesn't work that way. Death in a dream is a symbol of transformation, of closing cycles. It can mean that person is going through a big change in their life, or that your relationship with them is changing. It could be the end of a phase, a bond, a version of yourself that's being left behind. Dreaming about your own death, then, tends to be even more positive than it seems. It generally appears at turning points, when an old part of you is being left behind to make room for something new. Death in a dream is rarely an ending. Almost always, it's a new beginning. Romantic betrayal. You're in the dream and suddenly you see it. Your partner with someone else. The scene is clear, detailed, impossible to ignore. You feel that sting in your chest, that mix of shock, anger, and pain that only betrayal causes. And then you wake up. But the feeling doesn't leave with the dream. You look to the side, see your partner sleeping right there next to you, and even knowing it was a dream, you feel angry, suspicious, an unease that makes no rational sense. Some people even confront their partner about the dream. I dreamed you cheated on me. And a real argument starts, over something that only happened inside one person's head. This dream is extremely common, and almost always misunderstood. Psychology is clear. Dreaming about betrayal rarely has anything to do with your partner. It has to do with you. It generally appears when you're feeling insecure within the relationship, afraid of not being enough, or going through a phase of low self-esteem. It can also reflect a broader insecurity, at work, in friendships, in life in general, that your brain projects in the form of betrayal because betrayal is the ultimate representation of loss and rejection. In some cases, this dream appears when you yourself are neglecting the relationship without realizing it. When routine has taken over, when the connection has cooled, and your brain is warning you that something needs attention. Before waking up angry at your partner, look inward first.
Those were the most disturbing and common dreams that everyone has had, and that you won't be able to ignore anymore.
If you enjoyed it, subscribe to the channel for more curious facts like this every week. And if you want to understand one of the only technologies that would save us from complete extinction, watch that video right here on screen. See you next time.